Episode 7 time. Her deep, wheezing laugh filled the spacious room. It smelled of dampness, frankincense, and something burning.
Closer. Come even closer. Just as a mother worries about her children, I worry about you.
A deep, velvety voice sounded as if it came from everywhere, and yet I could see a female silhouette right in front of me.
Is it sanity or insanity? Is this deception or truth? So many questions, but only one answer is needed. Time.
She laughed again. Her thick, tousled, long hair began to move and to grow, filling all the space, every corner of it. Darkness swallowed the whole, and the world faded before my eyes. I was drowning in her laughter. I was suddenly jolted out of my sleep. The morning sun blinded me for a moment, and I closed my eyes again. There's clearly something wrong with my head, dreaming of that bloody nonsense. Amala is getting closer to the truth. Choosing the direction of her thoughts will determine her relationship with the goddess Kali. This will significantly affect the plot. But this dream... I mean, I wasn't really scared. It got me interested. It was a little scary and so mysterious. I would have liked to be able to listen a little longer to figure out what she was talking about. I don't know what this dream could mean, but it fascinated me, even though it was scary. Kindness of the goddess. The tension in my dream made me a little sweaty, so I immediately went to take a shower. I quickly finished my morning routine and made my way downstairs for breakfast. In the dining room, I was greeted by Miss Cajon, who was eating alone. Both Ariane and Sana had already left. However, the maid had taken care of me ahead of time by placing a plate of food in the spot where I usually sat.
Good morning, Amala. Come, take a seat and eat.
Good morning. I sank into the chair.
Ariane left for work early, and I sent Sana shopping. It's just the two of us today.
You look a little down. Is everything okay?
Yes, my dear. Thank you for asking. Sometimes it's sad to think that Sana will be leaving us soon. We took her in as a girl, raised her as our own daughter.
Priyanka's mood this morning left a lot to be desired. Clearly feeling slightly melancholic and in a chatty mood, she sighed heavily and picked up her cup of tea.
How soon will your brother Kieran arrive?
As soon as the school holiday starts, so in a couple of weeks or so.
Do you miss him? You must be like a mother to him now.
I pursed my lips, thoughtful. I don't think he sees me as a mother, even if I am his primary guardian. But we are very close to each other. I miss him very much.
I wish I had a child too. This is a question you've probably asked yourself.
Which question?
Why we don't have children despite the fact that we are at an age when we should have grandchildren.
I don't think it's any of my business. I have no right to pry into your personal affairs. I shrugged and turned my attention back to the food on my plate. Since you don't have kids, I assume that was your decision. Anyway, these are private family matters.
You are very discreet.
Well, it would be impolite to poke my nose into something so personal. Bianca pushed her plate away as if she had lost her appetite.
It's not a secret. We couldn't have a baby. We tried for a long time, but it was all in vain. I really wanted to be a mother. To turn the love between Ariane and me into something tangible. Something you could touch, cuddle, hold. Something with a soul.
She curved her lips into a smile, but it didn't reach her eyes.
I couldn't do the same and most important job that only a woman could do. Ariane could have left me, found someone else. The neighbors started talking. Why keep a wife who can't give you a son, they said. No one would have blamed him. It would have been fair enough. And yet, he stuck by my side. After all, he does love me.
She shook her head, chuckling bitterly.
It only makes it harder for me. I wanted to make him happier. I couldn't, and still can't.
I felt so sad for her that I wanted to give her a hug. In society, where having children is what everyone does, I could see how infertility could be a problem. It's not even about society. I think Miss Kahan actually wanted to be a mother. It's so wonderful that Mr. Kahan stood by you. I think you made him happy just by being with him. She gave me a wishful, tender smile.
God has rewarded me by sending me such a husband. I could live 1,000 lives, and in each of them, I would want to be his wife.
To have such a lasting, loving marriage sounds like true happiness.
Oh, yes, but the price was exorbitant. A childless life.
That's why Miss Kahan is so happy about Karen visiting. But Santa's like a daughter to you, right?
You could say that.
Then why rush the wedding? Don't you want to enjoy these last days together?
That's the way it is, Amala. The weddings can't be put off any longer. At her age, it's time.
It wasn't for me to decide how they ran their affairs here, so I kept my mouth shut. The phone rang out from the second floor. Miss Kahan allowed me to go answer, guessing that the call was going to be for me. My colleagues usually called me around this time. This is Amala Khan speaking. Good morning, Miss Khan. I'm calling to let you know that we've been given access to the police records. Brilliant news. Where should I go and when? The thing is, I don't think we need you to be here. We have Mr. Vayesh, that should be enough. You can take the day off. But, good talk. I was left alone with the beeps of the disconnected telephone line. I'm gonna have to deal with him. He's doing it again, bloody stubborn donkey. He thinks I'll always put up with it. I'm gonna go to that archive and turn the place inside out. If he's got a problem with me, he should say so to my face.
Amala?
I quickly turned around. Mr. Kahan was standing on the staircase, worried, looking at me. Everything's fine. My team leader just gave me the day off.
Oh, wonderful. We can take a walk around Calcutta.
I'm still gonna go to work. The woman threw up her hands unhappily and complained.
Oh, what kind of girl are you? You were told to rest, but you're so eager to work. Come with me. Let's take a walk. You let me choose jewelry for Santa's wedding. You'll people watch and show off yourself as well. In the sari I gave you yesterday, no one will be able to keep their eyes off you.
I shook my head, tired. Miss Kahan, I need to be there.
Come on, take a walk with me. If you change your mind, you can go to work later.
I had no choice but to agree. Maybe I really needed to unwind after what happened yesterday. I suddenly felt pleasantly embarrassed when I remember the kiss I had shared with Killian. How could that happen between us? I don't understand. First he kissed me, then he regretted it. No, first he regretted it, then he kissed you, then he regretted. Like, hot and cold, that's all the dude is. How should I act around him? Should I pretend nothing happened? I liked it, though. That's putting it mildly. Maybe I should start bombarding him with meaningful looks. He's so cute when he's flustered. It'd make work more fun for me. I got ready to go to the city center with Priyanka. An hour later, we were walking through the stalls looking at jewelry, spices, various local crafts. I remember how I ended up here on my first day in Calcutta and met Amir, the merchant. Our first meeting was fun, even though I had just passed out from sunstroke. And our last, I'm not even sure it actually happened. A dead man floating and slitting his throat in a library at night.
There are so many things here. You could spend an entire day wandering around and haggling.
I feel like a kid in a candy store.
Why don't you find a wedding earrings for Sana? And I'll go to the stall and see if I can get some cashmere saffron for cheap. A cook doesn't know how to haggle at all. She always pays full price.
I laughed and nodded. Priyanka hurried over to the market stall. As I continued to browse through the goods on the display, I got lost in my thoughts. I thought about Kieran, my colleagues, and my role in the investigation. They cleaned the alley just recently. Did you hear what happened before that?
My husband said that someone was stabbed and beheaded there.
Someone's conversation reached my ears.
Oh, great one. Keep us away from such whores. Do you know Rama? His brother works for the police.
I do. He helped me a lot once.
His brother said that they want to work on that case, you know. Those British visitors. Those bastards. They think they can stick their nose everywhere.
I held my breath, pretending to stare at a piece of fabric. The woman's voice became angry as well.
That's what I said. What are they thinking? Nothing good will come out of it.
Keep silent. They continued their conversation, complaining about the local police force. I stopped eavesdropping and moved on. I decided not to draw attention to myself and let them say what they wanted. Yep, everybody's allowed to their opinion. Even the dumb ones. Rumors travel fast. You can't keep them contained within four walls. These locals are bound to be unhappy if they find out that the British are once again getting involved in their affairs. Especially the older generation who remember well what it was like in India before it gained independence from Britain. I definitely need to go to the archive where the rest of the team is. I'll buy those earrings and rush there. Soon, I reached another part of the bazaar. There are all kinds of jewelry, and I knew I could pick something special. There are some beautiful pieces here. I'll choose among them. Which one of these two? So we have fancy earrings and simple earrings. We'll do fancy. I want Santa to be happy. She will wear them and remember me. I finished shopping and decided to find Priyanka. Your generosity will be rewarded. Wandering between the stalls, I came across a familiar face. Hey, it's Lakshman. That's a police officer who helped me at the crime scene. What is he doing here? He wasn't doing anything in particular. He was just looking at the pendants that were for sale at one of the stalls. I approached him and began to look at the jewelry as well. The man noticed me and his eyebrows shot up. Miss Khan, right? I pretended to be surprised. Oh, we do know each other, don't we, Lakshman? Are you here for work? No, I'm just looking for a gift from my wife. We remained silent for a few moments under the gaze of the vendor. He took a few steps away from the stall and called me over to him. I want to tell you something. Yes? His face twisted into a grimace. Thank you for telling everyone about me. About you? About me helping you. When the British requested access to our archive immediately, everyone started wondering who gave them information about the case. Your superior, Mr. Rose, told them it was me. I was fined, demoted. I'm now doing the most menial and difficult work. Oh. Can I punch Mr. Rose, please? I had hoped to get one of those jewels for my wife, but now my salary is only enough to buy rice. Annoyed, he waved his hand at me and went the other way. You shouldn't reveal other people's secrets. Damn. Well, that'll teach me. I mean, it really wasn't a secret, it was something that the police were talking about, but I digress. I needed to give earrings to Priyanka and head to the police archive. A few minutes later, I found my host and said goodbye, then I had an idea. Should I stop by the local store and change? I doubt the archive will be spacious enough for me to be able to comfortably move around in a sari. Deciding not to waste any more time, I found the most suitable store for what I needed. Stylish and practical, exquisite and comfortable, casual wear. I dig it. I should also put my hair up so it doesn't get in the way. Do you have to? Just saying. Braid. Beautiful updo. They ain't really putting up your hair, I'm just saying. Ponytail, that's not putting up your hair either. I'm just gonna keep it in an updo. It's what we've had. The other ones are okay. Finally, I was ready to head to the archive. You will have to find the archive, and this will take more time. He could have helped me to find the right place, but there's no way he's gonna do that now. I'll drop by the embassy to find out where the team went. It'll take a lot more time, but I won't be able to find the archive on my own. I headed towards the road to catch a taxi and get to the embassy. Once at the building, I began asking the administrator for information about Rose. At first she refused, but she saw my clearance, gave in, and told me the address of the police station. It's pretty far from here. I'll have to take another taxi. Watching the city pass by, I mentally kept track of the time. I hope they'll still be around when I get there. The police station greeted me with a smell of cheap coffee and the hum of indistinct chatter. The office was crammed with men in light-colored uniforms. One was eating while resting in a chair, the other was talking with colleagues, and another was angrily looking through reports. As soon as the receptionist noticed me, her face immediately took on an irritated expression. I was instantly recognized as a member of the British Task Force. After carelessly pointing to the entrance to the archive, the receptionist lost interest in me. I quickly made my way to the door. And what did you expect? For them to roll out the red carpet? But these are not proper work conditions. It's even hard to breathe in here. You can't expect them to be accommodating, Miss Berg. I quietly entered the archive and immediately noticed the terrible lighting and the stale air. The room felt stuffy. Between shelves packed with boxes were my colleagues. Lima was sitting on a stool. Killian squatted down next to her. Rattan was leaning against a shelf. Each of them was leafing through case folders. Hey, I got a question. Where's Mr. Rose? I just want to kick him before he knows. Hello, everyone. 3 pairs of surprised eyes focused on me. Amala, you're here. But how? I thought Rose wouldn't let you come. Your tenacity is truly impressive. As if his stupid no could stop me. I see you are brainstorming. And trying not to abandon all hope. Yes, the working conditions here don't seem to be ideal. They stuck us into this cupboard with no water, no air, handed us a stool, and that's practically falling apart. No one is happy about us being here. They see us as outsiders who are meddling in their business. To be fair, you are. But that's part of our job. We're still making progress despite these conditions. I met Killian's gaze and my heart skipped a beat. He immediately turned his attention to something else. I flustered the military attaché with just one look. Is he really trying to avoid me? Well, it's not gonna work. At that moment, Mr. Rose entered the archive carrying several bottles of water. He froze in place when he saw me. Miss Khan, what a pleasant surprise. You seem delighted. Well, can we sort this out already? I have no clue what you're talking about. I'll tell you then. The rest of the team silently watched us, expecting trouble. You've made it clear that you don't like me, then instead of keeping it to yourself, you make it obvious for everyone else to see. You let your dislike for me get in the way of our work. No, I'm gonna be honest. Your behavior is inexcusable. Stop giving me the runaround, grow up here, and just say it how it is. Fine, I'll speak to you now. Let's get out of the archive and talk about this. Rattan, Killian, and Lima looked at each other uneasy. The air seemed to thicken around us. No problem. After you. Lima and Killian followed us out of the archive. Killian spoke up. Why don't we all just take a step back? You really shouldn't get into this while we're working. Be quiet, Captain Lightwood. Mr. Rose looked at me. You suddenly appeared out of the blue like some kind of natural disaster. Instead of hiring an experienced grown-up Indologist for the task force, they sent me an inexperienced, snotty girl. Someone who isn't smart enough to keep her mouth shut when appropriate. You stick your nose in other people's business, you fancy yourself an expert when you're just an airhead. Really? Oh no, don't hold back on my account. Go ahead. It pisses me off that someone got you this job. You don't deserve to be here.
What are you talking about? I don't have these kinds of connections, especially because I didn't even want to come to India in the first place.
That's a great act you're putting on, but I've seen too much over the years to buy it. Confused, I looked at my colleagues. They didn't even know how to react. They didn't know what to believe, whether they should get involved or not. But Killian knew Rose wasn't lying. He was the one who told me that someone vouched for me. It was unfair that I had nothing to do with it. Smash it! Smash it! That's so stupid. Okay.
You're talking nonsense. Don't blame me for something I have nothing to do with. It's not up to you who decides I deserves this job and who doesn't. You should take a good look at yourself first. Stop slowing us down and complaining all the time.
How dare you?
I'm a member of the task force. There's nothing you can do about it.
Oh yes, there is.
Then go ahead and try. In the meantime, all you can do is keep quiet and obey the orders you were given.
There was tension in the air. My colleagues realized that and kept silent.
I don't want to take this any further, so just leave me alone. Okay, everyone, can we please move on?
Mr. Rose rudely interrupted Lima. Well then, Miss Khan, get on with your work. Until you mess things up, that is. And you will, trust me. Then we'll talk.
Of course, Mr. Rose. Sit tight and wait for it. We've got all the time in the world.
An awkward silence fell in the corridor. No one dared to speak first. The Indian police officers looked at us sideways. After leaving the water bottles on the floor, Mr. Rose turned around and left the building. Oh, so he's not going to do any work. What a surprise.
Well then.
Let's not get distracted because of this unfortunate accident. You mean incident? I'm just saying, where was the accident? I looked towards the door for a few more moments before putting the fight out of my mind. The three of us returned to the archive. Ratan greeted us when we entered the room, and all the time we were gone, he didn't even move us from his spot. Leaning against the shelf, he crossed his arms over his chest and looked at me. You certainly know how to stand up for yourself.
Did you hear everything that happened?
Unfortunately. My colleagues returned to their work.
Have you learned anything new? How can I help? Well, we've examined some cases from the past year. We had to put in a lot of effort to go through them. It took us a long time because only Ratan can read the reports. As for us, we can only examine the crime scene photos. So, what did you find?
I handed water bottles to everyone. Ratan shook his head.
Apparently there were 2 more victims before our merchant, Amir.
2. Yes, they were killed in a similar manner and had the same sun, crescent, moon symbol painted at the scene. Have you found out anything about the symbol?
I'm still working on it, but apparently it's related to Shaivism or Shaktism. I'm gonna study the dark branches of Hinduism.
Yes, it sounds like a good idea. Uh-oh. Mr. Rose shouldn't complain about you. You are good at your job.
Thank you. Can you give me the case files you found? The ones with the, for the other 2 murders?
Killian handed me one, while Lima gave me the other.
The first victim was a young woman, also found headless and naked. The second victim was a child. That's horrifying.
Anyone capable of such crimes must have no heart or conscience.
Was the child also killed in a similar way? Yes. Exactly like the other murders.
Oh. I looked down at the folders.
I'll have a look. Maybe I'll find something else.
We still haven't finished looking through the last month's reports. However, it is unlikely we'll find anything else because the killer seems to strike every month and a half.
That's not necessarily a good indicator. With each new murder, the interval gets shorter. This kind of people gets used to blood.
I turned out the conversation, immersed in the flow of information. Dates of birth, descriptions of bodies, position, terrain, descriptions of the symbol, photos.
A photo of the murdered child, too hard to look at. Wait, what's this?
I began to read the medical examiner's report. An autopsy revealed extensive lung damage, suggesting the victim suffered from idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. I went back to the very beginning of the report and I read again the basic information about the child.
He was from Varanasi. The murdered child was terminally ill.
I beg your pardon?
The autopsy determined that he was suffering from advanced idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. That's a serious lung disease. Yeah. The boy was from Varanasi, a city where funeral pyres burn 24/7. So, he could have died at any moment? I don't know, but the disease seems to have been at an advanced stage.
Which means he was meant to die any day now. Mr. Vaish, why didn't you translate this for us? My apologies. I thought you only needed the basic details.
Captain Lightwood, don't get mad. We didn't ask him to translate everything from cover to cover.
Amala, check the other case. I took the case file of the murdered woman and immediately looked for the medical report. However, she was not sick at all. And still,
she was fine, living here, working, married.
Oh, several words caught my eye.
Asha Chatterjee was a prior felony conviction. The report was filed October 29, 1979. On the night of that, Chatterjee murdered her unregistered newborn.
Really? The baby died of mechanical asphyxia.
She's a child murderer.
Lima sprung up from her seat, her eyes wide with surprise as she stared at me.
What?
The first victim was convicted of killing her own child. It says she ran away right after that. I skimmed over the report. The police couldn't find her, and when she was found, Asha could no longer be held responsible for her crime. They found her decapitated at the site of the ritual murder.
Yes. That's probably why the local police didn't connect this murder to ours. Maybe they thought it was an act of retaliation? That's very likely.
We remained silent for a moment, immersed in our own thoughts.
I think I might have an idea.
Well, I guess the diamond rush quickly ended. Sadness. It's 2 minutes past 9.
Clearly there's a connection here.
I set the folders aside, looking at my colleagues.
The victims were women accused of infanticide and a child who was terminally ill. Doesn't seem like a coincidence to me. I think there must be something about the merchant.
Do you think they were chosen for a reason?
I do, yes. That's right. Otherwise it would be a weird coincidence. Both those who were murdered were going through a rough patch.
If I may, I would like to say that I completely agree with Miss Khan. More information about the murdered merchant would be useful. I think you need to talk to the other vendors at the bazaar. Merchants know a lot about each other. If there was something unusual, wrong, or strange about him, you'll find out.
The guy looked tired and lost in thought. Ratan, what do you think about this?
I don't think you're dealing with a normal serial killer. The symbolism and the way the murders were carried out point to something else.
These murders are definitely religiously motivated.
Be careful, Amala. Kolkata can be a complicated city. The tiger guards the forest, and the forest protects the tiger. Catching this killer might prove to be harder than you think. He gazed into my eyes in the way only he could, a look that pierced through me, getting under my skin. You could undress me with your eyes, or you can chill me to the bone. I turned away, quivering. Let's wrap it up for today. Let's get to the bazaar tomorrow. We'll talk to the local vendors. Mr. Raish, can you find out if the merchant had a criminal record or something like that? Yes, of course. Great, let's go home, everyone. We spent the next couple of minutes tidying up the archive. When we were done, Killian, Lima, and I took a taxi. Raton remained at the police station to do what Lightwood asked of him. Getting out of the taxi, I was surprised to see Killian following me. Captain Lightwood? He cast a somewhat tense glance to the side. Then he motioned to the taxi driver to keep going. I think we need to talk. If that's what you want, of course. No. Today was a really hard day. I'm not sure I can handle this conversation right now. He narrowed his lips, nodded, and replied curtly, I understand. Sorry for bothering you. Then we'll talk about it another time if you want. He said goodbye to me and walked away from the house in the direction of the hotel. The house was silent. I went up to the second floor. There was no one there. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed movement. Santa was out on the balcony. She was sitting on a bench at the very edge of the balcony, looking at something. I decided to go talk to her. The creaking of the door made her turn around.
Miss Con.
Hi. Are you sitting here all alone?
Yes, I got a moment. I thought I'd relax a bit. Wedding preparations are taking up all my time.
I sat down on the bench next to her. Are you happy about the wedding?
I don't know.
You can always say no. No one can control or has any control over you and your life. No need to ruin your life because you're worried about other people's opinions. Your happiness comes first.
Oh, miss. If only it were that way. My gratitude to Miss Cajon and the fact that I have no family and home forced my hand. I have nowhere to go.
She shivered, hugging her shoulders.
Everything's in such a rush. It shouldn't be like this. Is this my destiny or my punishment? At the behest of Muka Teishi, I am suddenly being matched for helping a lost sheep.
Santa seemed to zone out from our conversation and began talking almost to herself. She stared into the distance, in the darkness, muttering.
God is merciful, but only in words, not in deeds. Muktaishi will punish me for disobeying. She will definitely punish me.
Her mutterings were more nonsensical ramblings. Headlights cut through the darkness of the night, and a car drove up to the house. Santa abruptly jumped up from the bench, gasping.
The masters have arrived. The table is not set. Miss Dinner will be served in 15 minutes.
These words, she ran back inside the house, rushing down to the first floor. What was that anyway? Who is Muktaishi? In Hindi, it means something like disheveled hair? Tousled hair? Soon after, I also left the balcony. After dinner with the Cahans, I returned to my room. I couldn't wait to study the book I had stolen. Finally, I could work in peace. Having fished out my treasure from underneath my suitcase, I put the tome on the bed. I started leafing through the pages, stopping from time to time to read the text. What else would you do with a book? In the fifth section, something caught my eye.
Panchatavaya, the secret ritual accessible only to initiates. Eating taboo food during rituals, pujas. Madhya, wine. Mamsa, meat. Matsya, fish. Mudra, roasted grains. And then Mutana, ritual intercourse. The man represents Shiva, the woman represents Shakti, and together they represent cosmic unity. The ritual must be performed in strict accordance with the rules of Vamchara. Paths of the left hand, Kala Shaktism. The food must be eaten and partners must copulate. Such as a ritual is available only to illuminated people who practice it for spiritual growth. Partners exchange energy and dissolve into each other. In any case, this ritual doesn't look like they were what we saw in the alley.
No, but it's probably leading up to it. I continued reading. He who worships Chandika without drinking wine, eating meat, and intercourse with a woman will find only suffering at every step.
Chandika?
Returning to the previous section, I started looking for his name. The fourth section was mostly about Kala Shaktism. The part about Hinduism where Shakti energy was worshipped in the form of a goddess Kali. The left-hand path seems to be what I need. The book listed variations of the name Kali. She was called the Dark Mother, a violent form of Shakti, the Mother of Time, Chandika. Muktakishi, naked, with disheveled hair. She symbolized the fire of truth and doesn't need the coarse robes of ignorance. Just as all colors disappear into black, all names and forms disappear into her. Santa was talking about Kali? I frowned, doubtful. A lot didn't seem to add up. Or maybe I was missing something. The text talks about the concept of time. Time is Kala in Sanskrit. Some thoughts stirred up inside me, but I could not immediately catch them. Suddenly a memory popped up in my head, words that for some reason I had not thought were important before. It's like she is absorbed in her nonsense. She almost always switches to Bengali or Sanskrit. Something about time, conflict, some kind of black tantras or something like that. I can't really understand. I slowly got up from the bed, amazed by my sudden realization. The book fell from my lap to the floor. Everything made sense. Time, conflict, dark color. In Sanskrit, they all sounded very familiar. Kala or Kali. Kali. I felt breathless. I took a step around the room trying to process it all. Well, of course, how could I not see this before? Grandmother Sanskrit nonsense, the upcoming festivals, even that bloody symbol. The crescent moon is often considered a symbol of Kali. Together with the sun, it represents immeasurable strength. The kind of strength that only the great Kali possessed, she who, according to the ancient legend, defeated an invincible demon. Everything leads to her, to Kala Shaktism.
So many questions, but only one answer is needed. Time.
Tousled hair, Muktaishi, the woman from my dream. Subconsciously, I already knew it. That's why I dreamt of her. The ritual murder must have been in honor of Kali. But how many people in Calcutta practice Kala Shaktism? I carefully picked up the book, planning to go to Santa and ask her about it. I walked out of the bedroom and headed down the hallway. My fingers were trembling, the book slipped out of my hands. I bent down to pick it up. Oh lord, here we go with this bullshit. While slowly getting up, I turned around. It felt like I was a completely different hallway. immersed in a strange green haze that seemed to smell of incense and decomposition. Okay. It's happening again. I was tense, but I did not want to crouch down in a corner, shaking as I did before. One gets used to everything, even to insanity. I'll stay put, see what happens. I'll stay here and wait. I don't want to pretend to be brave, but I don't want to be afraid either. I didn't move, observing the situation. A silhouette appeared in the corner of the room. It was a dark figure, similar to the one I saw in the library. A mirror? No, I don't think a mirror looks like a woman. However, this might be the woman who was killed, which was the first victim. When the light fell on the figure's face, I realized that it was a woman. An ugly scar stretched along her neck. Her eyes were empty, lifeless.
The path to the Dark Mother is full of thorns. A dance in the dark attracts the attention of those who dwell in it. Then you dance brightly, fearless, as if you aren't aware of the consequences.
Who are you? I don't know what I wanted to achieve with the question, but there was nothing else I could do.
I am an offering to the goddess on the 8th lunar day, the one who was destined for a terrible death, punished by the Dark Mother for infanticide.
An offering as a sacrifice, all pointed to... Are you Asha Chatterjee? I involuntarily stepped back, frightened by my own guess. I don't know how I'm gonna pull this one off.
For now I exist without a name and belong only to her.
Her hoarse voice was like a menacing growl. Red eyes burned in a green haze. There were no pupils, but I knew for sure that the gaze was directed at me. Like lifeless Amir, she did not cast a shadow.
This whole universe was born by you. This world was created by you. In the end, you always devour it.
The figure took a weightless step towards me. Like Amir, she did not touch the floor with her feet. It was like she was hovering a few inches above it.
You manifest as a destructive force. It is a great honor to fall victim to you, O Dark Mother. Mother of strife, mother of time.
Asha frowned, baring her creepy teeth. Her growl, stiff posture made her hostility clear. Asha's going to attack me. The dead woman clenched her gray fingers as if dreaming of squeezing my throat with them. I must do something. I'm gonna defend myself. I got into a fighting stance, ready to harshly push away this figment of my imagination. I'll scratch her face if she takes a step towards me. She's a ghost, honey. You can't scratch it. I'm just saying.
Girl, don't get your hopes up. Darkness always takes what it meant to take. It's just a shadow of your madness and I'll kill you.
First, you'll lose your head. Just try to get closer, Hellspawn. She rushed at me. I tightened my grip on the heavy tome in my hand, slamming it into her face. To my surprise, the woman was lightweight, fragile, and flew back as if she weighed nothing. Technically, a ghost weighs nothing. I'm just saying. What? How? She rose in the dark corner, her eyes lit with rage.
Brave, strong, reckless. Desperately protecting your soul. You are worthy of it. Hot blood is even sweeter.
Asha rushed after me, growling. Suddenly I fell to the floor. The woman was on top of me, reaching for my throat. The disgusting touch of her icy fingers gave me goosebumps all over my skin. Get off of me, leave me alone.
The delicious, carefully guarded treats.
What will your flesh taste like?
Asha leaned over me. Her parted mouth was dripping with rancid saliva. Oh no. My heart was racing in horror. Curse you. I was actually getting into that. I was actually, really enjoying that. So we gained 4 independence that time. Unfortunately, we were a little shy for the independence, choice. We gained 2 loyalty, 1 respect, 1 rage, 2 kindness. Let's get them diamonds. So without further ado, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down in the description of the video, plenty of things to check out, and ways to support the community. And yeah, no, I'm digging this book. Digging it. Yeah, feel free to let me know what you guys think as well in the comments section. And yeah, that's about it. So once again, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all later. Peace out.